Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Turgon the Wise coming at you with a new video today. Today we're doing the season 19 recap video. We have a special guest today. This is for the first time on one of my videos. We have a guest. I have our fearless leader Francis here with me. Say hello to everyone, please, Francis.
Hey everyone, and hey Turgon.
Sweet, this is gonna be fun. So we're gonna just do a quick recap. And here's what the map ended up looking like. The pins are pretty much kind of the same as they were since yesterday when the season ended. It's now Wednesday. The season has actually been over for about 20 hours now, but the pins still hold some merit. We did a lot of fighting down in Gorgoroth yesterday and Lambden, and we'll talk about these pins up here in a little bit, but just to kind of set the stage. So the olive green kingdom out here, this is Rad and Dash, and they just kind of sat out here all season, didn't really play too much of a role in the outcome of the server. The four major kingdoms of this server were the Crimson Red one, which is Ailil and Noad,
Know what?
and then we have the Brown Kingdom down here, which is Mordor, and that is Fire and Neon. And then we're the Pink Kingdom here. That's YuDz, and our partner this season was Soul. And the Blue Kingdom is the Erebor Kingdom, which is Desal and Heon. So that kind of sets up who's who on the map here. One sentence to describe the season. I mean, really, all in all, I don't really think I have a sentence. I would just say the season was very intense, fast paced and intense. We fought here, we fought there, we fought all over the place, and it was nice from that standpoint because we did more fighting this season than like the last two seasons combined. So good stuff there. What's your thoughts on it, Francis?
Mm, Honestly, there is some thought about it. At first, I would say as the season goes, it's kind of unexpected some stuffs, but overall, it's amazing. The season was amazing just because of the fights it brings to the team, pushing the team to go to be active beyond what we had the seasons before. For example, it's yeah, it's what we need. The community need seasons like that that is pushing to the limits what we can do under pressure as a team and as a player. That's part of the goal we need.
Absolutely. Yeah, and ideally it would be fun if we could have servers that had this kind of intensity. Maybe not every season, but every other season, something like this, depending on like the ebb and flow of everyone's real life. Some people, like they go on long vacation in the summertime and you see a little dip in activity then, or sometimes, when you get around like the Christmas holidays. But all in all, if we could have seasons like this from an intensity standpoint, like every season, I think that would be outstanding. Yeah.
I agree. I'm all for it. Even if, let's say that from the initial goals we had, like the initial thought we had entering the season, from the final outcome, there are some stuff that are, as I said, unexpected. Um, yeah, I'm curious to know for you, not for me, no, just for you, your thoughts about it. Like, what were for you when we entered this season? What you were thinking about, for the team and for yourself as a player, also because we are leaders, but we are also players.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I play a bunch of accounts, so I look for the ability to play all three of my accounts and fight a lot on all three of my accounts and help out my friends who help me so that we can have good strong season, have good activity. And I think when we look through, I'd like to take a quick moment at some point during this video to look at the leaderboard and look up and down and see where each of my accounts stacked up because they're very different accounts. My Turacano account that I'm on here is like a Kraken account, and then my original account, the Batukas account, is kind of like a whale account, and then my Dolphin account is the Azurist accounts, and it's very like three distinctly different experiences playing each of these accounts, and it gives me a lot of perspective of the game, and I think that that helps me also from like a leader's perspective because like I know not every player in yuDz is a Kraken. I know some people seem to like have this misconception that yuDz is like 100 Kraken, but we're not. We do have some players that are, low spenders or spend less. And it's good to understand the viewpoint, the experience of these players so that you understand, like what they're going through and so that you don't send them on impossible tasks or set them up. You want all your players to be kind of set up for success. So it's helpful to be in a season where I can utilize all my accounts to kind of gather that info and understand these perspectives so that I can help understand what different players on the team need in order to have fun or how they can be utilized best for in the best interest of the team. How about you?
We entered the season, and it met actually what we were looking for, the expectations we had, because uh, lately we were looking for a season that was challenging for us as a team and also as a player. Like I found a lot of strong opponents, not just like a little, like very strong opponents, very active. Some of the warband, like we will talk about it in a bit, very active, very some players like them active. I think in the end it was good for the team because we need this kind of challenge to know your limits and to judge players by players. Okay, what 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 are my limits, and also if I break. And actually, we show it that you just doesn't break even after being in a situation that you will talk about in a bit. Uh, and we come back and we rise again and we keep fighting, and that's the mentality, that the spirits we want as players, and for our players to have the weapon that define us. We found it actually, and even at the end of the season, it's like one of the first time we are like, we don't need to make a lot of adjustments. The mentality the players showed, the activity the players showed, the commitment Ace and everyone showed was like kind of, I will not say perfect, but it was amazing. And that's all because of what we found, which is challenge and the fights. So I'm happy. I'm happy overall, and I feel like we found really what we wanted, what we expected, with some twist, obviously. But yeah, overall, I'm very very happy, and no, I'm just like before we go to other question and so on. You can make the recap of the season. And one question I think you will answer directly. It will be like, what was the most intense fights we had? The unexpected, like, opponents. I will say we had some unexpected opponents we did not know before the season, and we found them. So yeah, I'll let you talk about it a bit.
Yeah, thanks. That was perfect, and there's a lot of great info. And here I'm just showing now the affluence because the map really kind of speaks towards this, where like these four teams with these two kingdoms, these are all teams we never faced before. Even NOAD, to an extent, was about 30 players from Aces that we faced last season that came to join this team this season. But still, it's a new team. It's a different team's different leadership, very, very different leadership. And it was good to kind of see some new people, fight some new people, get a different experience. ILIL, of course, is another team that we know very, very well. Um, Although they have changed quite a bit since the last time that we saw them 3 seasons ago. So, and we also saw Neon in that same season 3 seasons ago as well, but we never actually faced them during that season. They were on the other side of the map from where we were fighting. That was the 10v2 season. They were out, I think, in like Enid Waith, like that Rohan Isengard area, and we were out all the way out in the east of Mordor that season. So while we we know these teams, they're quite a bit different, and we're still somewhat new to us as well. There's a look at
Hmm.
the rest of the board down here, and this is just how things end up. It would be cool at some point, maybe in future seasons, if I took screenshots of this, maybe not necessarily day by day, but every other day, just to kind of see how teams trend throughout the course of the season, because seasons are long. They're not over in like 2 3 weeks, even if everyone kind of gives up, or there's one team that clearly wins, and or something happens, and everyone goes to sleep. The season is going to go 50 55 days no matter what. So there's going to be changes that can occur, and it's interesting to kind of see how the numbers change, because at one point we were at the top of this board by a mile, and then at another point we were like 10th. We were dead, and we end up kind of in the middle at fifth, and I think that's pretty cool. There was a lot of dynamics that were very, very enjoyable about the season. We got all the fights that we could ever possibly want. We learned a lot about ourselves. We made a lot of improvements to our team in terms of like how we coordinate and how we work together. And from those standpoints, it's been a really great season. We came into the season, we signed up the very last second before the sign up ended. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that real quick, because people didn't like that we signed up with only like 20 seconds left in the sign up. And some people, I think that we were hunting as well. And I just want to be clear that like we didn't care about who was on this server. We just saw a server that had teams signed up for it and jumped in the last second. And we jumped in the last second because, I mean, word is out on YuDz across the community. People know who we are, and they avoid us. A lot of teams work very hard to avoid us. And so, especially now, with the newest changes that came um, since a week or two back, you can't register as hidden anymore. So everyone's going to know who everyone is on every server now. So it's going to be very, very challenging for us to find a server. There was a lot of servers. We were in Bag End for a month since the Aces season ended. We were in Bag End a complete month. And during that month, we watched a lot of signups come and go. And most of them were empty because teams just were scared to face us. And that makes it challenging to enjoy the game, because I think everyone feels entitled to play as they should, but you know, you can't work around a team like us forever. And to the credit of the teams on this server, they beat us. We lost. We lost the season. We came into this season honestly with the expectation that we probably weren't going to win. We didn't sign up with a strong partner, and that was intentional, because we received lots of feedback that teams thought it was unfair. We partner a strong team like a Lame or Iron or Gods, and then we come onto a server and we wipe the server. And so, we're not a team of people who are cruel, or who lack empathy. So we listen to the feedback, we make the adjustment, we give it a try, and this is the outcome. And in some ways, like from the gameplay standpoint, like Francis was saying, it's been great. Like, this is what we wanted. But I think from an interpersonal standpoint, from a diplomatic standpoint, there was a lot of aspects of this season that were um, unpleasant, and
Mm, definitely,
ideally,
bro.
yeah, ideally, we would like
And
to avoid those unpleasantries if possible.
yeah, to add to your point, yeah, if there is people that say, "Oh, we are, I don't know, hunting," or "Oh, you come here unexpectedly," and there is just one question that every team should ask themselves first before accusing use of doing something. Like, of course, we hear the voice saying, "Oh, you come here and last minute and things like that." Okay, but teams should think like that. What they will do if they will be in your shoes as youths, um, and in the circumstance we are like, it's not like we waited 1 month in Bagan. because we wanted on having fun in Bagan, or because we were hunting any of these teams. We did not know where we were putting our foot on before actually the server being how it was shaped. Like we saw it growing in numbers. We saw a lot of signups going off, like not actually going on, going off, not starting because there was no people. The community is smaller and smaller, so it's normal. We are looking what every warband should be looking, which is at least for us as leader, the priority number one is going to a season that can be at least fun, and that bring up activity to your player for the community to actually enjoy spending hours in the game, and hanging out with the one and another. That's what we are looking for, so it's why we sign up here in this season. And I believe it's what every warband are looking when they are to sign up anywhere. It's to have fun in the first place, and fights and things to do. Otherwise, like if you just for wins, you enter easy. At least for us, no, I'm talking for youths specifically. You enter any season. If you want just win, we enter any season. We point up and we choose. Okay, here we go because we know we will win. But that's not definitely not what we are looking for as youths.
Yeah, and it's exactly, and I learned some things kind of later after the fact about this server that would have been really helpful to have known before, but nobody
Mm,
talked to us, and we don't talk to
exactly.
nobody because we have to keep our plans secret in order to give ourselves a chance to even have a fun server, and nobody talks to us, whether it's because of us being in shutdown mode or intimidation or for whatever it is. I mean, it's not like we're not friendly, but at the same time, there it would have been helpful to have known things prior to entering the server. Like, for instance, that these teams had planned a prepared 4v4 with other teams. There was two other teams that were supposed to be on this server other than yuDz. And when they heard that yuDz was going to sign up, they bailed. And the other six teams, after I don't know who those teams were, by the way. I assume they were home in mine, but I don't know for sure. And I don't that doesn't match things that I had heard leading into the season. Like, I had heard that they were going to be waiting anyway for some recruits. So I don't think it was home in mine, but it could have been. Because they had basically played the previous server with Desal and Heon and Fire and Neon, and so it could have been home in mine, but I don't know who else it would have been. It could have also possibly been Small and Puro. I don't know. But whoever those teams were, they heard that we might sign up and they left. And then the remaining six teams, and again, I learned this actually only a few weeks ago, like after the fact, after way after the season started. The other six teams had an agreement that if we showed up, they were going to gangbang us. And honestly, we walked into the server without knowing that, but kind of having an idea that would happen. And it is what it is. We're not complaining about being gangbanged. We, like I said, we expected it. I think one of the things that was unpleasant was just the decorum, of some of the leaders in the teams, and it could have been a little bit more respectful, and respect that we've given some of these teams in the past was not returned to us this season, and that's upsetting. So um, that's all I'm going to say about that. We started out, I was saying, we had taken airborne, but we had no intention of like stripping them of rewards of any kind. It was purely a strategic decision. And yeah, we took airborne, we came through here, we took airborne, but we didn't continue pushing into their lands. We didn't go towards Iron Hills or Karnan or Easton. There was no intention to like zero flatline them. It was strictly a strategy to buy time, knowing that when the 10-day passes open up down here, we were going to have to fight these guys, and that these guys were going to come through here too. So that was all that was. And honestly, the leaders from Erebor, acknowledged that they understood that and there was no hard feelings there. Although
I mean,
some of the other players from other teams continue to try to use this as some sort of justification for
I mean,
completely zeroing us.
yeah, but it's like there is zero fundaments in this, because in this sentence, if someone is saying, "Oh yeah, we are starting to zero people," like I will just put it a fact. That's a fact. In diplomacy, we reached out to Erebor 2 times. One before even the 2 or 3 times. One before the pass open to the center, um, and we tried actually to speak with them like, yo, uh, I don't want to share too much now, but more like, yo, about a general feeling of the season, and also like, yo, we are looking at the server, we are looking like we kind of can see, let's say, um, what will happen, which is the other two kingdoms teaming up against us. We have some echoes here and there, so it was like, okay, let's talk with everybody anyway and make this server interesting. And to prove this point is what will happen later on, but that will come in a bit. But we reached out to Erebor actually 2 or 3 times, and even before they said no, we keep fighting and all that. And indeed, it's because they had already some agreements. We are okay with that. They spoke with us. They were honest about it, actually. And I have only good things to talk about Erebor leadership overall, especially the values they have shown and the respect, which is returned in a from our part. So yeah, we reached them. It's okay. It's fair game. They wanted also to fight us because we were tapped in this corner. So we fight one another. We reached them also before and after the capital capture, and we also did not advance further as form of respect. And yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot, and that's a good. Those are good points to bring up. That we before the chapter 4 passes opened, we talked with them about, like, hey, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to nap? Do you want to fight? And they said, let's see what happens. So we fought, and
Yep.
then we before we took the capital, we approached them again. We said, hey, do you guys want to talk or do we want to keep going? They said no, keep going. So it's like they kind of gave us permission to do what we were going to do, like they knew what they were going to do, but they also knew that
Mhm.
they had agreements with these other teams and that they were going to get bailed out. And even though no one told us, we knew too. Yeah, I mean, this is really honestly the turning point in the season, and for the turning point of the season to be so early in the season, I think is a little unusual. But part of it is just because of the way that the season is structured with this gated approach the devs have implemented with these passes opening up on day 5, day 10, day 16, and then Dol Guldur opens, I think, like day 21 or something like that. So the chapter 6 pass here opens on day 10, and we were in great position to take it. And you got to give credit to where credit is due. Fire had a guy, and it was like a 1 in a sea of yuDz siege. There was one guy from Fire, I forget his name, Prince something, and he
Yes.
sniped it. He sniped the pass from us. He took it, and losing this pass completely,
Oh,
um,
snowball. Complete snowball.
it completely shifted the balance of. It took us completely off balance. Like everything that we were hoping that we were going to be able to do was completely nullified because we had to continually defend attacks in Ashen Plains from fire, and Neon also was attacking in Hills of Rune over here. So we're fighting over here. We're fighting not one, but two warbands with like a little more than half of our team. Meanwhile, I have another squad way up here in Upper Anduin Vale just basically trying to keep Eilil and Noad, like just stall them as long as we could because we knew that they were
Yeah.
coming. They came, they took, and I got to give credit again. I think I said this in a previous video. But you got to give them credit. When this pass opened, they did not attack it right away. because the pass is open at 0800 UTC. They attacked this pass at 1600 UTC. And I thought that that was really clever of them because it was like they gave enough time where we're like, oh, maybe they're not going to attack it, and then we start shifting our focus elsewhere and go far away, and then they attack it, and we have no chance of getting back in time to mount any sort of a defense of the pass or this region or anything, and they just stormed through here. We did our very best to kind of tile and slow them down, but when you've got like 30 guys going against like 200, it's a bad day. So so they stormed through here, and our teams, that were down here fought really hard against fire and neon. And at the same time, our partner Soul, Erebor was regrouping. They recaptured their capital. They reformed their kingdom. They regrouped, and they came through and captured the pass into Greater Rune. So we had Soul over here helping against Erebor, fight them. Two fellowships there, two warbands there, two warbands over here versus two of our squads, and then two warbands over here versus our one squad, and it was just too spread out, too much. I mean, we did the best that we could with what we had, but it is what it
Mm,
is, and
ac-
we just kept getting pushed steadily back.
Actually, I gotta give a shout out anyway to the team and to Soul because I will say I don't see like I don't know teams that will be so resilient, and the resistance we put up, like it was slow, yes, but in normal conditions, I will say, if it was not like for the youths stained, like we don't need to. I mean, I think many people know or see it. We are a strong warband as well. So if you were that strong, we will be like, I don't know, over. It will be over like way before it's actually ended for us when they took the capital and all that. But it took them everything. Like I can say we are tired of this season, but I'm pretty sure that all of them are tired also. So it's actually something like we can be proud of for our side.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, and that was the squad that was up here ended up, coming, getting uprooted or coming down Ashen to help reinforce. And I got to
Mm,
really tip my cap to Fire because they were tough. They were really tough. I mean, they didn't end up with the ring, but they were a
mm.
really impressive team, I gotta say. And they
For
worked
me,
well with Neon. They had tremendous activity and they played very, very smart.
for me, it's unexpected. It's the word for fire. I was not expecting them to be that strong and active and putting up so much like uh, effort and resistance. It's first time I see in a long time a warband that can actually resist against us, even if we were not like never actually a full warband against them, obviously. But yeah, they were impressive and unexpected. It's unexpected for the word for them. It's my word for them, and yeah, a good surprise.
I agree. Yeah, really good stuff. And so at that point in the season, we were just getting pushed back and pushed back. And then we kind of turtled on Searoon. So I talked about how we lost this pass on day 10 and then just steadily kept getting pushed back. On day 21, 3 weeks into the season, I believe Dolgodor had opened and no one took a single one of these passes. No one even tried to go in the center. All six of these warbands just focus us in Kydeland, and on the 21st day of the season, we lost the capital, and we were a green kingdom to start. If you watch one of my early videos of the season, you see we were green, and then we got disbanded, and we lost everything. We lost all of our regions, our capital, all of our resources. Excuse me. Pretty much almost all of our tiles. I mean, they they stripped us pretty bare. It was rough. And then for 1 week, we really did nothing, and everyone did nothing because instead of shifting the focus to the center, they decided to continue focusing us out here. And
Mm.
they were bored because we weren't doing anything and they weren't doing anything. No one was doing anything. So
But
we had some good conversations and we were able to come to an agreement to kind of restart the server. Do you want to talk at all towards that, Francis?
no, I was about to say like it's more like it's not like we did not do anything. It's we could not do. For me, there is a difference. Like if you use one word or the other, it's like if we uh, did not do it because we did not want. But for us, it was actually the opposite. We wanted to do, but we could not. We had nothing. We could not actually move out of where we were. Like it's the first time in since season 2 for me. It's the first time that we lose like that, and also the amount of time we got relocated, each of us, things like I did not remember what it was like, and it's fucking it's hard, bro. It's hard to come back, man. We can be strong. It's hard, even if they leave us. Like we happen later, but because of the like kind of everyone is bored. For some, it's because they wanted kind of, or they made it happen that way. For us, it was like we were just, I mean, we were in no position, and that's basically what it is. It's the truth. We were in no positions to do anything, so it was actually up to the author's kingdom to do something, and the boredom that happened that actually impacted everyone, and also these warbans because they weren't doing anything also against one another, which normally it could happen. It's something that you can expect. It's okay, and the door will open maybe, and because we were to the ground, we could not do anything. What we could actually expect eventually is they start to fight or do something, and then it's kind of balance a bit the season, because there is, and for me it's actually in the future it's what I would like to happen. It's enter a season where everyone can fight everyone, there is fight everywhere, so it's make naturally it's make the season more balanced, because if you advance somewhere and then you encounter another team, then it's a 2v1. But if you are in the same place, then it may be a 1v1. And it's make it more balanced that way. For example, for us, if they, for example, two kingdoms start fighting and then we fight, and then if we push too much, it's a 2v1, stuff like that. It make it balanced, because nobody can actually zero nobody unless there is too much difference in strength and activity.
Yeah.
It did not happen, so we are kind of tied up like what the others do, and it's when the actually the diplomacy, and gotta give also again the thanks to Erebor, that I don't know who it was, because it was something internal between these kingdoms, all of them. But Erebor actually, from what we know, we don't know. Maybe we will get some clarification later. We don't know. But actually, they just went away from that big coalition, and they said, okay, let's try balance this out a bit, make this server more fun for everyone, because it was like not possible to have a season like that. And so it ended up being like a kind of a 2v2, like two kingdoms against two kingdom, with everybody by your side. Yeah, and then I don't know if you want to talk about the details of this, because I know there is some stuff that happened behind the scenes that for me, I just want to focus in the positive more, even though I acknowledge that it could have been better, especially the part of letting us rebuilding a bit, so we can actually fight in more equal footing. It did not happen how we wanted, but I'm kind of happy anyway that it happened something better than nothing. So, but maybe you want to give a few words about this.
we got disbanded, and eventually we struck an agreement, and we were able to reform our kingdom, reform all of our lands. Um, some aspects of the agreement I wish could have been a little bit different. Like we had asked for 3 days in order to retake Ashen Plains, retake this pass, retake Withered Gardens, get stamina back, get our barracks back, get our farm back. The 3 days, would have allowed time to do all those things so that we could have started evenly when the fighting resumed. Maybe not necessarily evenly because we were going to start with less resources than everyone else anyway. But I mean, even from a standpoint of being standing on 2 feet and being on balance and having stamina to be able to do things, so that we were all, as fair as it could have been. And they decided not to do that. They gave us 24 hours, and then before we knew it, they were, all of the passes around the year were taken except for this one. They took 5 passes in a matter of minutes. It was kind of remarkable. It was kind of cool, very interesting coordination. Um, and then we raced to this pass with Fire and Neon, and they beat us to it. And our fortresses were finishing building, and they took it. And that kicked off literally a week of insane fighting that just was here with most of the server. Erebor was still up here fighting Eilil mostly, and a little of Noad, and we were engaged heavily with Fire and Neon, and then kind of a sprinkle of Eilil and Noad would come over and help them out. And we attacked this pass many times because, as you can see here, it's on the Mirkwood side of the river. So they want to attack it, they have to go through the crossing. They've got longer march time. We have short march time. We had to attack this pass 3 times to take it, but we did finally take it. And we held it for a couple days, a lot of attacks. Honestly, I don't understand sometimes how these guys had stamina to continue attacking and defending and attacking and defending, but again, I tip my cap to them for just amazing, amazing gameplay from the Fire and Neon Kingdom. And then um, we started pushing up here quite a bit, pushing them out, pushing towards here. There were some bases that we uprooted as we started working our way towards Upper Anduin Vale, and we would push and then we would defend, and we would push and we would defend. We were kind of going back and forth and gradually pushing farther and farther and farther. And then again, I got to tip my cap to the Fire Neon Kingdom, because one of the things that we do very well is we kind of analyze other teams' activity patterns, and they attacked the pass during a time that we didn't think that they would, and they took it. We were unprepared to defend, and kudos to them for doing that.
they had a few days with the help of Noad and Ilil with the Egel bombs and all that. We were like, I think when they attacked, we were not prepared, but also in terms of troops, we did not have troops to this movement. When they did it, it was like after a big attempt the night before or a few hours before, something like that. We were so out of it, like barracks with nothing. They managed to do it, but I will say it's because of it's the whole succession of events together that bring up to that moment to be successful. It's the resilience of doing it non-stop. At some point, obviously, it will work because we have back limitations, stamina limitations, and so on. So yeah, they
Yeah,
did it, and congratulations. Congratulations. We still like held there for I don't know 3 days or I don't know. It was insane and intense, but very fun also.
Yeah, definitely. Let me real quick. I want to share some screenshots of some of the pins from those battles. When the PvP kind of the war resumed in Central Mirkwood, this pin was the only red pin on the map at the time, and you could see how low it was: 16.1 million participants, 5.9 million deaths. For some, this is a big pin. Like on some servers, some people would look at this and go, "Yeah, that's a nice size pin." But let's watch how it grows. Now, in case people don't know this, pins update regularly every 4 hours. Okay, there's no other criteria for pins updating other than it's on a timer. Okay, so here's the next one. So we grew from 5.9 to 10.7. That's almost double. And then to 16.9. So this is 8 hours after this one, 4 hours after that one, 8 hours after the first one, 12 hours after the first one, 16 hours, 20 hours, and finally, this is a day after the fighting started. We went from 5 to 28.8 million deaths, 81.5 million participants. And the next one is the peak. The biggest pin of the whole season was this one: 29.9 million deaths, 84.3 million participants. That's a hell of a pin. That's a hell of a pin. So, again, I tip my cap to everyone on the server for the incredible fights, especially around here. And then after we took the pass and we lost it again, I gotta again tip my cap to them because the way that they set themselves up was very impressive over here, where they had Neon and Fire kind of taking everything on to the left of the road over here, and then Ilil was like through here, and Noad was here, and you can still see their forts are right here. Here's Noad and and Ilil over here. And there's Ilil coming like on the side. And then over here, there's Fire. Oop. Hey, I still got some battle reports from here.
Oh,
That's
wait,
pretty nuts.
what?
I didn't think they would stay in the memory that long, but that's pretty cool. I guess because it stores in the memory not based upon time, but as more and more battles occur on the tile, like there's a memory limit and it pushes the old data down. And we haven't fought here in so long that this is just the old data sitting here, which is pretty cool. We can look at some of these maybe a little bit later. But yeah, here's Fire over here, some neon forts over here. It was well done. And then we're fighting crossing wars here for I think it was maybe a day. We were stuck here, and then they started just gradually pushing us in more and more through Central Mirkwood until we ended up over at this. I hesitate to call it a choke point because it's certainly far from a choke point, but this post house was where things kind of landed for the last couple weeks of the season. Most of the fighting was here. One other point that
Wait,
I
wait,
wanted to
wait, don't move, don't move. What the fuck? I see someone attacking a tile.
yeah, there's people still doing stuff. Yeah, for sure. People
What
just
the
bored.
heck?
And one other thing I wanted to call out before this pass, we took the pass. They attacked the pass to try to take it from us, and they didn't. And then Fire and Neon Kingdom took Dogol Door and got the ring buffs, and then
Uh huh.
attack
Yeah.
again. And we defend it once or twice more against the ring buffs. And then they attacked it. I'm pretty sure they attacked it at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It was like 1200 UTC, 8 o'clock in the morning my time. Maybe it was even earlier. It might have been 11 UTC or like 7 in the morning or something like that. They're attack. I woke up and they're attacking the pass. So my hat's off to them. And then for like 2 weeks almost, we fight over in this area here. Intense pins. I mean, there's still a residual pin here. 26 days here and here. And then finally, they decided to have their ring war over here, and that gave us an opportunity to come up here and start working our way up to Central Mirkwood. We grabbed the Central Mirkwood keep. It was kind of gifted-ish to us, and then we tried to go for the gold badge by taking Barad-dûr, which also was supposed to be gifted to us, but one of the teams decided to say no, and we were able to take the Barad-dûr yesterday, within a few hours of the season ending. But just before we took that, Eilil recaptured Brzkala. So for whatever reason, they thought that it was not okay for us to get a gold badge. And their reasons are their own. I don't understand them. They don't align with my reality at all because we've given two of the teams that beat us gold badges after we beat them in the past. You would like to see that level of kindness and benevolence kind of reciprocated. Um, Specifically, I'm talking about Eilil and last season Aces. We gave Aces gold badge too, even though we could have certainly done the same stuff to them that they decided to do to us this season. But everyone makes their own decisions for their own reasons, and I don't have to understand it. And it just is what it is, and I'm not going to complain about it. But it's just saying, in general, most leaders I talk to around the game agree that this is a rather drastic, intentional breach of decorum. That most people agree is rather unacceptable, but it is what it is, and that's all I'm going to say about that. You have any thoughts on that?
My take, yeah, my take on this, it's more like I think the community, like I said before, the community is small already. We always end up. We can. It's not always, but we can always end up um, in some servers again. And I think that's something I bring to with me to myself. It's like we should treat everyone the same way we want to be treated, and we need to have that level of respect, and we need to bring to the game also, because it's people behind every monitor, every screen that are playing. So I think also bringing the values, uh, all of us, we have some values and principles, and there are some, for me at least, I think that kind of universal. It's like, why you will like do something that don't change anything to you, that it's negative for the someone else, but to you don't bring anything but eventually negative, because the fact that you have the power to decide if another team can get a maximum reward possible or the minimum reward possible, if you have this power in your hands, it's kind of your responsibility how you handle it. And I think it's more like for us, for youth, in general, we are like we have given gold badge also to Warben that did not give us much, and maybe they did not deserve, but in the end of the day we are more like, but we need to think about it differently. And yeah, we give them, because sometimes it's more like they cannot, it's more like, oh, we win and they lose, and it's not like they did not fight. They could not, and they lost, and that's it. And there is like very very few, I think, two times we actually did not give. One of them was because the leaders of the opposition did not want. It was the leaders, not even the members. It was the leaders. We offered them. We said, you can take the cup and all that after your golden, but they did not want, for whatever reason. It's up to them. I don't know. And the other one was a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I can
It
talk about
was
this one because it's in one of my season 17 recap video. Anyone can go and watch it. I'm not going to say anything that deviates from what I say in that video. I mean, in that season, we faced VSOP and 1T and RUSC, and there was a couple of other little teeny teams, and literally no one fought us all season. And not only did they not fight us all season, they did so intentionally, and they bragged about it in World Chat. And they came to the end of the season. RUSC asked us for a capital for some rewards, and we tell them no, you didn't play the game all season. So that's kind of like the benchmark that we have set for like it's really hard to have you zero you and not give you any rewards. Like I said, we're a pretty respectful and empathetic team, but we're here to play the game. And if you don't play the game intentionally against us, then you don't deserve a reward. And especially if your players are going to gloat about giving us a boring season in the world chat, nah. And I get it. Like there can be a few players, that don't that say things that don't necessarily reflect what the team stands for. But in that case, the leadership's got to, say, hey, these players are not players that are aligning with our values. We're gonna part ways with those players because they're causing trouble for us and it's not working out, and we don't want their views to be reflected as our views. And that's what you need to do sometimes as strong leaders, is to kind of manage these people so that they're not impacting the outcome for your team or your team's reputation. That's why we ended up zeroing those teams that season. And honestly, um, if there's a problem with that, I'm sorry. uh, uh, I think if the roles were reversed, they would probably do the same thing to anyone else. You come to play a game, and then your opponents choose to not play the game against you. Um, they shouldn't be surprised when you don't get anything in return. Everything in life is kind of give and take. You only get as much out of something as you put into it, and if you put nothing into something, then you're not going to get something out of it. And to expect that you would is not a realistic expectation in many or most cases, I would have to say. So at
Yeah.
any rate, let's move on because we're taking up quite a bit of time here. I just want to walk through the leaderboard. I mean, the affluence leaderboard don't matter. Let's look at the top merit. And this merit board, it's not exactly the same as it was a day ago when the season ended, but it's pretty close. So I'll just scroll through a little bit, and so you can kind of get a sense of who all the big players were. I tip my cap to Pa- Papyrifera, Papyfera. I'm so sorry. I can never say this name right. Someone's got to correct me at some point. Cape, Sema, Sauron, Raz, Rick. Rick. This guy wrecked me so hard on my dolphin and my whale account all season. Uh, oops, my bad, bro. He was like top of the board for NOAD for quite a while. Fell to 26th in the last couple of days here. Kozo, Sin, Rayhawk. Rayhawk had a heck of a season for Heon, Omer, Ebullient. She's very nice. I spoke with her through DMs, and I appreciate it when I can have, a mature conversation with an opposing player that doesn't like get nasty or anything like that, where we can just, have a friendly conversation about what's going on from my view, from your view. We can level set. And I appreciate those kind of conversations and those kind of players. So yeah, a lot of great players on this server, and the thing that I really want to show as I kind of work my way down towards the bottom. There's my second account. Ended up at 3.7. It's not bad. Is that the bottom of the top 100 ended at 3.3 million merit? I mean, that's a lot of fighting. There was a lot of fighting on the server. And you also have to consider that there was like a week, maybe a little bit more, where there was just no fighting at all. No one fought anything. So really, really, really impressive stuff. I already showed the affluence. We talked through this a little bit. Season points. This is our kingdom. Not really much point talking through this, but yeah, I just want to tip my cap and give shout outs to all of our friends on yuDz who had such an outstanding season. I mean, top to bottom, this is the kind of season where a lot of warbands, you're facing 6 teams or 4 teams at most, if not all times. And a lot of teams in our situation, I think, would have folded, quite honestly, and been like, heck with this. This is too hard. I'd rather go and do something else. So I got to really tip my cap to yuDz for staying tough and playing the game hard. And also, I want to tip my cap to our partners in Seoul who did their very, very best and were very, very good and easy to work with. I appreciate, Pat Man over in Seoul leadership and his group was a very nice group of people to work with. So thank you for all your excellent collaboration and wishing you all well as you move forward. So yeah, this is kind of the top 100 for our season points. We talked through that. We talked through the ring. Anything else you wanted to talk through before we close this out, Francis?
No, not really, not necessarily. Just a big shout out to everyone, really, and yeah, even if not really happy with some behavior, there is a difference between some behaviors from some leadership and or warbands, but in overall, the season was really very good, and we can just like live happy about it. Really, live this season happy and looking forward to another season.
I just wanted to show how empty my barracks is. And it's been like
Uh,
this like all season. I think there was maybe only one moment, after we
mm,
lost our kingdom before the fighting started where my barracks got mostly full. I don't know if my barracks were ever totally topped off
mm,
full at all this season, and that's not a complaint. That is awesome. That means you're busy fighting and playing the game and having fun, and
no,
that's what you want.
for me, it's there is a big standout for the team because we were so far under the ground completely, and we still put up so much fight after, you know. Uh, there is many teams that when they got zeroed, they got no capital, nothing, no lands. Uh, there is like one third of the team or half the team members that just say, fuck it, really. Like, it doesn't matter. We have nothing to gain here, or I'm just losing my time, or I go focus real life and stuff like that for youths actually like big shout out to the leadership, big shout out to every member's leadership for the coordination they put the work, a big work behind the scenes, and also keeping the members active, the morals up as much as possible, and every members of the team to still come in game, do some hard work. Some people, because people don't realize, but when we are outnumbered, what happens is you need to work not twice. You need to work the amount of like you need to multiply by the amount of um, opponents. Like if you are, and we it was like four teams at some point. It was six before, then four. It means that you need to work four times harder than the opposition just to match them. It's crazy, if you think about it mathematically talking, like just in the tilling wars, it's so exhausting, and we still put up so much struggle for them, to go through that. It's something like even we need to be proud of, in my opinion. Need to be proud and not like minimalize the effort and the teamwork that was put in this season. So yeah, big thank you for the whole team and the leaders also.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, tiling is a lot of work and it's a skill. And there are some people in this game that are really good at it. And that's something that I'm always working on getting better at. Um, but yeah, to your point, I mean, stamina was a huge limitation for us facing all these teams, and it's definitely a rate limiting factor as you're planning for things. You run out of steam because at some point you can only use potions so often. You run out of you run out of action points, or you get the mental fatigue. There was a lot of good lessons learned from this server as a result. So, at any rate, Francis, thanks for taking the time to jump on and talk through all this stuff. It's great having you, and it was a great server, and appreciate all the time and effort you put into the game and the team, and appreciate the opponents for a great season all in all, and appreciate all the efforts, like you said, of yuDz and the team, and looking forward to doing this again next season. So thank you all very much for taking the time to watch the video. Always appreciate your support. Leave us a like, leave us a subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend ahead. And see you next time for season 20. Francis, thanks
Goodbye,
again for
everyone.
joining us. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank
Turgon
you
the
for
Wise
having
and
me.
Francis signing off. Cheers.